यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुनातीरा वनचारी यमुनातीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय ओम शुभाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतस्य श्रीमद् डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद की ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshuvanmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha नमावों विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। We welcome all of you for the Srimad Bhagavatam class this morning. We are reciting from the 3rd canto, 11th chapter, text number 42. Tadahur aksharam brahma सर्वकारणकारणं विष्णोर्धाम परं साक्षात् पुरुषस्य महात्मनः तदाहुरक्षरं ब्रह्म सर्वकारणकारणं विष्णोर्धाम परं साक्षात् पुरुषस्य महात्मनः तदाहुरक्षरं ब्रह्म सर्वकारणकारणं विष्णोर्धाम परं साक्षात् पुरुषस्य महात्मनः तत् आहुरक्षरं ब्रह्म सर्वकारणकारणं विष्णोर्धाम परं साक्षात् पुरुषस्य महात्मनः तदाहुरक्षरं ब्रह्म सर्वकारणकारणं विष्णोर्धाम परं साक्षात् पुरुषस्य महात्मनः तदाहुरक्षरं ब्रह्म सर्वकारणकारणं विष्णोर्धाम परं साक्षात् पुरुषस्य महात्मनः तदाहुरक्षरं ब्रह्म सर्वकारणकारणं विष्णोर्धाम परं साक्षात् पुरुषस्य महात्मनः माताजी तदाहुरक्षरं ब्रह्म सर्वकारणकारणं तदाहुरक्षरं ब्रह्म सर्वकारणकारणं विष्णोर्धाम परं साक्षात् पुरुषस्य tat that ahuhu is said aksharam infallible Brahma the supreme sarvakarana all causes karanam the supreme cause Vishnu Dhamma the spiritual abode of Vishnu Param the supreme Sakshat without doubt Purushasya of the Purusha incarnation Mahatmanaha of Mahavishnu. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna is therefore said to be the original cause of all causes. Thus the spiritual abode of Vishnu is eternal without a doubt, and it is also the abode of Mahavishnu, the origin of all manifestations. Purport. Lord Mahavishnu, who is resting in Yoga Nidra on the causal ocean and creating innumerable universes by his breathing process, only temporarily appears in the Mahatattva for the temporary manifestation of the material worlds. He is a plenary portion of Lord Sri Krishna, and thus, although he is non-different from Lord Krishna, his formal appearance in the material world as an incarnation is temporary. The original form of the personality of Godhead is actually the Svarupa, or real form and he eternally resides in the Vaikuntha world, Vishnu Loka. The word Mahatmanaha is used here to indicate Mahavishnu, and his real manifestation is Lord Krishna, who is called Parama, as confirmed in the Brahma Samhita. Ishvaraha Parama Krishnaha Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Brahma Samhita 5.1. The Supreme Lord is Krishna, the original personality of Godhead, known as Govinda. His form is eternal, full of bliss and knowledge, and he is the original cause of all causes. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the third canto, 11th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Calculation of Time from the Atom. First of all, I seek the blessings of Maharaj and all of you senior devotees, and to be able to say something meaningful and valuable from this last verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam of the third canto, 12th chapter. In this last section, there is a information given about those great personalities who surpass the life of Brahma. Brahma exists for 3.11 trillion, 40 billion years. So his birth is called as Kalpa, and his time period when it gets over, it is called Pralaya. Kalpa, Mahakalpa and Mahapralaya. And in between, many Kalpa Pralaya cycles happen. Creation, annihilation, it happens. So there are 33 crore devatas or demigods who exist in this universe, and all of them, you will see, they are subordinate to Brahma. Brahma is the first created living being, and Brahma has a body of intelligence. He has 4 heads. He's a special personality born from the navel of the Supreme Lord in a lotus. And Lord made him the first disciple also. And Lord made him the leader of the universe to further give bodies to the other living entities, 8.4 million species, and also to hand over the Vedic knowledge down in the disciplic succession. So naturally, Brahma's position is very great, undoubtedly. Nevertheless, there are personalities even greater than Brahma also. Like Lord Shiva, as Sadashiva, he exists in the interface between material and spiritual worlds. Similarly, the Vishnu, existing within the universe, he is actually the father of Brahma, who is called Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. So I have a small PowerPoint. I thought if I show this, it will convey a lot. Yeah, everything originates from Mahavishnu. He creates millions of universes. Lord Krishna says in the Gita that the 8 elements, material elements, called as Apara Prakriti, they come from him. He is the source of all these elements. So, when as you see here, when the Lord expands, he resides in his own abode of Goloka Vrindavana as Swayam Bhagavan. But he expands himself. As you see below the Brahma Jyoti, there is a Karana ocean. Lord Krishna expands himself into Mahavishnu. There is a little more explanation about this. Lord Krishna expands himself as Balarama. Balarama expands himself as Mula Sankarshana. And then the Mula Sankarshan expands himself as Narayana. And then from Narayana comes Mahasankarshan. And from Mahasankarshan comes Mahavishnu. So in this way, this Mahavishnu is a portion of Krishna. That is said in one of the verses of the Brahma Samhita. Yasyaika nishvasita kalamathavalambya jivanti loma vilaja jagadandanataha vishnur mahansayiha yasya kala vishesho Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. He says, I bow down to Lord Govinda. He says, whose portion of a portion? Kala means portion of a portion. Is Mahavishnu. And who is that Mahavishnu? He says, when he exhales, millions of universes emanate from him. When he inhales, they all enter back into him. And in that span of time, Jagadanda Natha means the Brahmas. Each universe has one leader, Brahma. And they all with folded palms are saluting to this Mahavishnu and bowing down at his lotus feet for protection and for the opportunity given to them for service. So in this way, Brahma's lifespan is definitely very extraordinary. But in the comparison with Mahavishnu, it is insignificant, just one exhalation and inhalation. One time when I was in Chowpatty temple, we were about 4 or 5 of us managers had a meeting. So the meeting went on for 2 to 3 hours. So my spiritual master, Ranas Maharaj, he called all of us to his room and asked, is the problem solved? He asked. So we said, not yet. So then he said, okay, continue the meeting. Then after 1 more hour, again he came and asked, is it done? So what he said is almost done. Probably we'll have to have 1 more meeting. Leader said. Maharaj said, all problems will be solved when Mahavishnu inhales. He said. That's the time everything, otherwise this material world always has problems. So in this way, Mahavishnu exhales and inhales, bhutva bhutva praliyate. Certainly he is a very powerful personality, Mahavishnu. Therefore, there is a verse in Satvata Tantra which says, I will show that verse. It's going to come just now. This is one universe. So the Karana ocean, Mahavishnu lies and creates. In the yogi's meditation, yoga rurukshu, yoga ruda we call it. So yoga ruda in the perfected stage. So this is Mahavishnu. So that Mahavishnu expands into each universe as Garbhodakshay Vishnu, what you see here now. How do you recognize him? He has a lotus navel from where Brahma is born. And this is Kshirodakshay Vishnu who lies in the milk ocean, to whom Brahma and all the demigods go and pray to. Whenever there is a cosmic disturbance, they all go and pray to him. This is Lord Sankarshana. This is a super soul residing in the heart of all the living beings as well as in every atom. So beyond this material world, he sees the Vaikuntha, where Lakshmi Narayan reside along with their associates. He also sees the Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, all these forms. Then, although many people think Mahavishnu is the source of everything, but beyond Mahavishnu, his original source is Krishna himself, as you see here. So he sees the divine couple in the abode of Goloka Vrindavan, which is filled with Kalpavruksha trees and Surabhi cows. And all beautiful living entities. This is the eternal. So that Mahavishnu creates millions of universes from the pores of his body. He is the expansion of Krishna's expansion.
From all the three worlds, both spiritual and mundane. Everything rests in me, Arjun, just as you see pearls hang upon a thread.
Yeah, this Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Matta parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mayi sarvam idam protam sutre maniganaiva. Just like if you see the Kantimala here, it looks like all the beads are together, but we fail to see the nylon thread that binds it all together. But when the nylon thread is removed, all the beads will get carried away. Similarly, in this world, we see everything is in order. You see, when we open our eyes in the morning, the sun shines, the clouds shower, the seasons change, the crops grow, the flowers blossom, the fruits ripen. So many things are happening, none of which is controlled by us. And in fact, we are controlled by them. Without them, we can't survive. So, how are all these movements happening? When Prabhupada was in London, he asked the disciples walking with him, he showed two houses. One house was like unkempt, and the aisles were all having leaves and other things. The house was very dirty. The window panel was broken and a very sandy house. The other house was having a light lit up. Aisles were neatly cleaned up, and the lawn was neatly trimmed. And Prabhupada asked, when you see the two houses, what do you see? So one of them, disciples said, Prabhupada, this house is dead, that house is lively. And also he said, there must be somebody living in that house. Whereas in this house, no one is living, he said. And Prabhupada said, when you look at the universe, how does it look like? It looks lively or it looks dead? Then everybody admitted, oh, there are a lot of movements, a lot of things happening in the universe. So then Prabhupada said, just like if you take a magnet and put it below a paper, iron filings are above. When you move it, everything moves. The movement is possible because of the magnet. So Krishna is like the supreme magnet who is making everything move in this world, move and act. So he is the underlying thread of the whole existence. So it's Sarva Shaktiman. Yeah, this is the first created living being from Vishnu's navel. So he meditates on Vishnu, Brahma, and he draws energy from him. He draws knowledge from him. Every bit of knowledge Brahma knows is derived from Vishnu. And then Brahma does the secondary creation, Visarga, creating 8.4 million species. He is the one who makes the template for all of them. And Durga Mata supplies the materials. 8 materials for Pancha Mahabhut and earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, ego. So Lord originally supplies all these things from the Pradhana. From the Pradhan, the Mahatattva, Prakriti, everything comes one after another. And then Brahma creates all these different species. Now this is Vishnu, from whom Brahma comes. And then the 14 planetary systems are created. And this is one universe. So within one universe, there is Garbhodaksha Vishnu here. And this is the super soul residing in the milk ocean, I told you. So he is in the atom, he is the heart of all living beings. So here in Rig Veda, there is a statement about Krishna. Apashyam Gopam Anipadyamanama. It says that I saw a covered boy, Gopala Krishna, who is infallible. Now people have a question. Why there is so much mention about Vishnu in the Vedic literatures, but we don't find so much information about Krishna directly in the Vedas and Upanishads. In the Upanishad you find Chandogya Upanishad talks about Brahmanyo Devaki Putraha. There is a statement. There is also a statement in the Upanishads that the Supreme Absolute Truth lifts a hill and he plays on the flute and things like that is mentioned without mention of the name of Krishna. So the reason for that is, just like sometimes the children have one name at home and another name in the school. At home they have a nickname, but in the school register you won't find the nickname. There you will find official name. Similarly, Krishna's name is mentioned in the Vedic literature as Vasudeva, son of Vasudeva. Although in Vrindavan he is called as Kanai, Balai, or Kano, Balu, Kana, this kind of names they may call him. So, Krishna expands in these three forms. Vishnostu treni rupani purushakyanyuto viduhu ekastam mahatas srishtir dvitiyam anda samstitam tritiyam sarva bhutastam tani yatva vimuchyate. This is the verse I told you. Ekam tu mahata srishtir. One Vishnu creates millions of universes. Dvitiyam anda samstitam. Second Vishnu enters into the anda, Brahmanda. Tritiyam sarva bhutastham. Third Vishnu enters into the heart of all living beings. Bhuta means living entities. Bhutastham means is situated in the heart. Tani yatva vimuchyate. Anyone who knows this truth will be liberated, he says. This is the meaning of God being omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient. So Super Soul is omniscient. He is present in every atom and every heart. And Garbhodaksha Vishnu is omnipresent. In every universe he is present. He is the soul of the universe. Garbhodaksha Vishnu. And Mahavishnu is Ekam tu Mahata Srishtir. He is omnipotent because he creates millions of universes. In this way, Lord Krishna expands into these forms. Now, why does he expand in these forms? There is a reason for that. Just like a president of a country lives in his home, but he also has a role in the parliament to play. Parliament is an official role. At home, he has an informal role at home. Just like a military officer also. When he goes to military base, he will have the stars and he will have the strips and he'll have the cap and the gun and all the weapons and everything. When he is at home, he may wear a very simple dress. He is not going to show gun to his wife or children. Isn't it? Similarly, you find at home Krishna is playing on the flute. Whereas when he goes to office, parliament, there he has weapons like, wheel, disc, and he carries a conch and a lotus and a mace. He carries all these things because now he has to do his duty of paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. He has to destroy the evil and he has to protect the devotees. He has to do that job. He needs all these things. But when he is Krishna at home, he just plays on his flute. He has a peacock feather on the head. So Lord at home, Lord in the office. So you can choose which Lord you like. It's your choice. Actually, Lord allows different people to worship him as per their rasa or bhava. Somebody like Shiva and Brahma and all, they like Mahavishnu as a supreme. So Srila Prabhupada in one of his purports writes, in Vaikuntha, Narayana is more beautiful than Lakshmi, he says. When Narayana becomes Mohini Murti in the Samudra Manthan pastime, that time Mohini Murti looked more beautiful than Lakshmi also, it is said. It is mentioned. On the other hand, in Vrindavan, Srimati Radharani is more beautiful than Krishna. Krishna's beauty is diminished by Radharani's presence, it is said. And the reasoning that Prabhupada gives in that purport, he says, Vishnu's devotees like Shiva and Brahma and all, they like to see the Lord in majesty. So, being a majestic Lord, they cannot see the Lord as subordinate to anybody. He can be subordinate to none. Whereas in Vrindavan, Krishna does not play the role of God. He plays the role of being son of Yashoda, son of Nanda, friends of Sridama, Sudama, Madhumangal. He's a lover of Radharani and the gopis. And he is always surrounded by cows and calves and deers and everybody. So, therefore, Lord doesn't play the role of God. He is equal or subordinate to everybody in Vrindavan. It's all on the platform of love. So, therefore, the intimacy is very great. So, many people have this question, is Lord Krishna the avatar of Vishnu or Vishnu the avatar of Krishna? Let us see. You know this pastime? This is in Brahma Vimohan Leela, Krishna manifested many multiple Vishnu forms. All the Vishnu forms manifested in front of Brahma, you all know. But you will never hear one Vishnu form manifested many Krishna forms. You will never hear that. Secondly, here this verse says, Sahasranamnam punyanam triravrittayatu yatphalam eka avrityatu krishnasya nama ekam tat prayachati. This verse says, if you chant Vishnu Sahasranama, 1,000 names of Vishnu 3 times, it is equivalent to chanting Krishna's name once, it says. Why? What is the reason for this? As you go from official approach to intimate approach, the leniences are more. In home also you can see parents are lenient with their children, isn't it? But the teachers in the schools may be more strict. So where there is a formal role, the conditions are more. Where there is a homely situation, lenience is more. So Krishna's name, only once you chant, it is equal to 3,000 names of Vishnu. Here Brahmaji is speaking in Padma Purana to Narada. He says that in the lotus feet of many incarnations of the Lord, 2, 3, 4 or 5 auspicious signs are present. Whereas in Krishna's lotus feet, all the 16 symbols are present. So he is called as a Purna Purushottam, complete manifestation of Godhead. Whereas in other incarnations, only a few are present, he says. And in these 3, Vishnu, Ram and Lord Krishna, if you see them, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Venkata Bhatta in Srirangam that if somebody sees difference between these 3 forms, he is an atheist, he is a Pashandi. One should not see any difference. All 3 are one personality, only Purushottama, but they expand in 3 forms. At the same time, in their moods and mellows, they are different. Like Krishna's mellow and Lord Rama's mellow and Narayana's mellow, these are 3 different mellows. For example, in the milk ocean pastime you can see here, when the demigods and demons were churning the milk ocean, whenever they had any trouble, Lord Vishnu is available to, solve the problem. He is a problem-solving master. You see here, there was an imbalance in the mountain, so he became a tortoise at the bottom. Then again there was imbalance in the top, he became Ajita at the top. Then afterwards he came as Dhanvantari bringing the Amrit Kalash, the pot of nectar. Then that was snatched and taken away by the demon, so he came as Mohini Murti. You see that. So in this way, as soon as there is a trouble, the master solves the problem. So he is a great master who is worshipped with grand worship, like in Tirupati you see, and no one can see him for a long time. In Tirupati, even today if you go in India, they will catch you and throw you. They will not let you take darshan more than half a minute. You will see that because it's a VVVVIP personality, very grand personality. So there is a verse which says, Kamalachuka chuchuka kunkumato niyatarunitatu lanilatano kamalayatalochana lokapate vijayi bhava venkata shailapate Sachaturmukha Shanmukha Panchamukha Pramukha Kila Daivatamaulimane Sharanagata Vatsala Saranidhe Paripalayamam Rishashailapate. In this verse it says, Chaturmukha Brahma, 4-headed Brahma, 5-headed Shiva, 6-headed Kartikeya, they all come and salute him, they bow down to him. And so much so that in the early morning Mangalarati, at the doors of Balaji temple, all the demigods are standing to take his darshan, it is said. So he is a very great personality. He is a master of the universe. So here I have written in the top, if you see, Lord Vishnu is always a protector of his devotees by expanding himself into various forms, and his devotees have great reverence and respect for him. That is the platform. Whereas if you see Rama, Lord Rama charms the heart of his devotees by depending on them. For example, he depends on Guha, can you please help me to cross the river? He is depending on Sugriva, who is the leader of the monkeys, to find out Sita. Then he is depending on Vibhishan, who is the brother of Ravana, to take his help in the war against Ravana, you will find. And also he takes help of Hanuman to find out Sita. So when a great person depends on a smaller person, the affection of the smaller person towards the great person increases. You will see that. It's a very obvious thing. Lord Vishnu doesn't depend on anybody. In fact, he says, any problem there, I am here. Lord Vishnu solves the problem like that. Whereas Rama, he depends on his devotees. By depending on the devotees, he becomes very dear. Yeah. Actually, this is something we can also learn in our lives. that if we empower the younger ones and make them do wonderful things and we clap hands, then the younger one gets empowered. They do wonderful things, they do. Bigger and bigger things they can do. But if I do everything nicely and I expect others to clap hands for me, then everybody will fall back on us. So here Lord Rama charms the heart of his devotees by depending on them. And Krishna, if you see how much he connects with his devotees, I think I'll skip this. So this pastime shows about Krishna, how he, is intimate with his devotees.
Friends? I see. What shall I play then? An excellent choice.
Not coming? Not coming there? How? It's not coming there? It's coming? Something else is coming there? Nothing was coming till now. Nothing was coming there. Oh, it got stuck there, really. I showed many other slides here. Nobody told me I have been showing beautiful slides. That is the old one. It got stuck there, really. Anyways, time is up now. But nobody told me it is stuck. I am only watching it myself. Huh? Yeah? I think there is some problem there, I think. But this PowerPoint is available. You can, if any of you want to see, I will give it to Swarnabindra Prabhu. I'll give it to you. I will leave it with him. If anybody wishes to see, can leisurely go through this. Actually, this is a PowerPoint I had prepared for Vrindavan Yatra. The first day, we had a 3-hour program on this PowerPoint. There are about 10 or 12 evidences showing Krishna's supremacy. Krishna's being the original personality of Godhead. Because this is a very important topic for many people, even coming from pious families. They have questions: is Krishna one of the 10 avatars, or Krishna is the original? So you can go through it at your leisure. I think you were only hearing me, but you didn't see the PPT, I think, probably, correct, no? After that, it didn't move at all. Yeah. So here in this last verse of this Bhagavatam chapter, we saw that it says Sarva Karana Karanam. Krishna is the ultimate cause of all causes. So there is immediate cause, there is a remote cause, there is ultimate cause. Krishna is the ultimate cause, source of everything. Krishna says in Gita 7.4, 7.5, I am the cause of all causes. Then 7.7 to 7.14, there he talks about, I am essence of everything, he says. And then in 10th chapter he says, I am the very best of everything. These three things Krishna says. I am the cause of all causes, essence of everything, very best of everything. So when we study those things, our fixity in Krishna's lotus feet will happen, and we will have no more doubts that will remain about Krishna's original position. So I will conclude with one verse in the 15th chapter. Yo mameva asammudho janati purushottamam sa sarvavid bhajati mam sarva bhavena bharata. He says, the one who knows me without any illusion that I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is all-knowing, he says, sa sarvavid. And he wholeheartedly worships me. He glorifies me, worships me. From the bottom of his heart, one can practice Krishna consciousness if one knows Krishna's original position. And then one understands Krishna as be-all and end-all, he says. Ventraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.